what is happening, what is going on, you absolute bunch of legends. So this video, I'm going to make it a little bit longer, and I'm going to give you Blender tips and tricks that you'll actually use in Blender. So this video will be pretty, it will be pretty, not in depth, but it will be, there will be quite a lot of tips and tricks. So stick around, maybe you don't know one or two, and hopefully this video will help you, make you better at Blender. That is the goal of the channel. So hopefully I've done it so far, or going to be doing it in the future. So first thing, I'm just going to delete this camera. We already need it, but first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to cut objects in half in Blender. So Shift A, Mesh, and I'm going to use Suzanne the monkey. Then first thing you want to do is let's just zoom in and make sure that your monkey is selected. Hit Tab, and that goes to edit mode. If you hit Tab again and you don't want to hit Tab, you can just click here and you can go to not sculpt mode, edit mode. So if you let me show you how to also select all geometry. So if you, let's say you've got an object and you had it all selected and you maybe misclicked, then all you can do is just push A and it selects all the geometry again. Then what you want to do is select mesh and look for bisect. And then what you can do is just click with your mouse and select something like that to kind of cut the object, and then let go. And then make sure you go to front view. So Y, like that. And then select this, so select bisect. And then you want to select all these to 0. So click on this, hit Shift, so hover over, select it like that, and go to 0. And you can just change this to 1 and make these both 0, so it cuts straight down the center, because it's not easy. Well, you can just draw a line like that, but this makes it a bit more accurate. And then you just hit boom like that, and it cuts the one half away. And if you click here and you click there, it selects the other half, so that makes sense, and you can cut both in half. And now you can see here it's got the object open. What you can also do is you can just fill it, so it fills the object, so it makes it completely in half, like you've cut it and it's just filled it. And what you can do is, if I go to front view, you can then change this to cut it like that, so it kind of gives you something like that, but then you have to you can see you can't fill it, okay, but you can play around with that. And that is how you cut an object in half in Blender. It's really simple. And if I go back to tab, you got that. So hopefully this was, it's quite a cool trick to know. You can create some interesting things using this method. I'm going to delete this. So that is tip number 1. So now what I'm going to do next tip is I'm going to show you how to make an object thicker in Blender. And it's pretty easy to do. So I'm going to go Shift A, Mesh, and I'm going to get a cylinder. And then this is also a pretty cool trick. If you want to like open up this face, you can just click there and select nothing, which gives you nothing in the middle. So it cuts it in half. It makes it kind of like a cup. Obviously it's got nothing at the bottom either, but it's another tip, I guess. Then what you want to do is you want to select your cylinder. Let's go to modifiers over here and go to search for a solidify modifier. And this is where you do it. So if I go to top view, you can see here, if I increase this, it increases the thickness of the object. So you can make it pretty thick, or you can make it only a little bit thick, completely up to you. And then you can also offset it. So you can go here like that, and that will give you the option. So that is how you make an object thicker in Blender. That is tip number 2, or trick number 2. So if you've got a scene and you want to preview your things while you're working, and let's say I'm here and I've got Shift A and I'm just going to add a cube, and I'm just going to add a material on it. So select there, I'm just going to change this to a metallic and just change it to like a orange, and I click here. You can see I can't see something that nicely. It looks a bit weird, but if you want to just preview what it's going to look like, you just click here and you uncheck that, and it allows you to just have a look with like an HDRI in the image. So it allows you to preview the material nicely. But just keep in mind that when you render the image, it won't be lit. So it won't be lit. If I click here and I just go to camera and I go here and I add a camera, Control Alt 0, And let's say I want to now render this and I click F12, you'll see it will still be dark. Unfortunately, you'll need to add a HDR manually to preview it like this, but it just allows you to see what you're working with easily in Blender without having to add an HDR yet. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to delete this, boom. I'm going to delete the camera, boom. And next thing I want to show you is how to add like all modifiers at once. So let's say you're going to create an object. So I'm just going to go Shift A and I'm going to go to Mesh and I'm going to add the monkey like that. And let's say you're going to add a modifier. You're going to add a subdivision surface modifier to smooth the object out. And I'm going to make it 2. I'm going to right click. I'm going to shade smooth. Then you're going to add another modifier. So let's look for a displace. Now it creates something kind of weird. So you can kind of just do something like this. And then last thing I can do is I can just go to here and add a solidify modifier, which I know I'm not creating anything really special, but you can make the thickness like this. And it's got you something like this now. Now it looks like this. And if I go here, the object looks like that. Kind of weird. Actually kind of cool. It's like a puffed up Suzanne in Blender. It looks pretty cool. But now let's say you want to add all the modifiers. So I'm just going to do this. Boom, boom, boom. What you can do is you can select the object. So boom, right click and convert to mesh, and it converts all the modifiers now to here. So now you can't do anything else with the modifiers. You don't have any more. Basically, you can't change anything, but it allows you to add all the modifiers at once with one simple click. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to extrude inwards in Blender. A lot of times you create an object and you extrude outwards. What I'm going to do now is show you how to do it inwards. So we're going to use a cube. I'm going to go Shift A. I'm going to go Mesh, and I'm going to go to Cube. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you how to do loop cuts. I've got a video on this, but we can actually do it also in Blender. Let's add this one to the tips and tricks. So you're going to click here. You're going to go to Edit Mode, and you're going to look for loop cuts. Click there. Boom. And add another one, and click there and add another one. Okay, that adds loop cuts into Blender. Now what you want to do is you want to go here to back to there, and you want to select your face select, and let's select this face. So if you want to extrude outwards, you just select the object, you push E, and you can bring it out like that with your mouse, and you can just select it like that. And now if you push E and you bring the cursor in, it extrudes inwards. So if I click there, now I've got something like that. And you can do it with all other kind of objects. You can click on that one, E, and you can push it in like that. And you can extrude inwards and outwards really easily. But you can see now it's got this overlap. So what you can do is you can get selected. So now if you want to do that to extrude on the edge, just click on the object, press Alt E, so Alt E, and then select extrude manifold. And now if I do that, you can see it adds all the edges on the outside as well. So yeah, just keep that in mind. In the inside you don't really need this, but on the outside you will need this trick. So yeah, a lot of people miss this trick. It's pretty cool to have, and you can create something cool like that really easily with a couple of loop cuts, which I showed you how to do, and just extruding inward and outward. So next one, I'm going to leave this cube like this, and I'm going to show you how to basically view in X-ray mode your object like a transparent object. So it's really simple to do. I thought I would just add it on to this tutorial, not tutorial, but this tips and tricks video. And it's basically just like one button. You're going to click on the object that you want, and you're going to go to X-ray mode, and you got something like this now. So I can click there and I can view it in X-ray mode. Looks pretty cool. And if you want to toggle out of it, you just click on it again like that. It's actually pretty easy to do. You can still select your object. You can see where you've got cuts, and yeah, it allows you with a little bit more complex geometry and that kind of stuff, just to view things a little bit better and work a little bit better. You won't use it all the time, but thought I would just show you how to do it. It's pretty cool. And let's leave the video at that. I'm gonna be doing more videos like this, so make sure you subscribe. I will pack in some tips and tricks, basic tips and tricks into like one video with like a few, like probably like 5 or 6 tips and tricks, so that you can learn Blender with like a decent amount of video instead of keeping it short. I'm also probably going to make these each tips and tricks I'm going to make into a single video. So like I had to use X-ray mode, and I'll upload that video. It will be a lot shorter, and yeah, it will be able to be searched a bit more. So I thought I would do something like that, but I thought I would create a little bit of a longer video for you guys, and hopefully you learned a few things. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, would appreciate that, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.